Hey guys, in this video, we're going to talk about how to make this kind of product CGI videos using Pftrack and Blender. We're going to track the camera motion using Pftrack and we're going to use Blender to add all those CG elements into it. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is to open up Pftrack. In Pftrack, you can just click the project button here to create a new project. Just click it, click create, and give it a name. I'm going to call it something like VFX. You can call it whatever you want. And now it's time to choose a location to save the file. Just click the three dots and go ahead to the directory where you want to save your file. I'm going to go ahead into this folder and I'm going to click it. I'm going to click choose to create the file. Let's just go ahead and click confirm and it's going to create the project file. Okay. So now it's time to import the PNG sequence. I'm going to come up here and just copy the location of my PNG sequence. I'm going to close it. I'm going to click the three dots and I'm going to paste the location of my PNG sequence. And I'm going to click OK. Now it's time to just drag and drop it into our sheet here. And now it's been loaded. The first thing you have to set up is the frame rate. Just set it to 25 FPS for this specific shot. I'm going to right click, go to the tracking, and I'm going to click auto track. We have different options, but for now we're going to use auto track to track the motion. If you click preview, it's going to add trackers into it and you will be able to see them. So if we just look around the timeline, if you just play it a bit, like so, as you can see, it's creating points everywhere, and we don't want that. We just want to create points um, on the static areas, not on the cars. So to isolate cars, we're going to go to mask here. We're going to click the Bezier roto, and we're going to mask around the cars area. We want to isolate these areas so we don't create any points in on the road where the cars moves. Why is that? Because we just don't want to distract our camera track by the car movement. So I'm going to go ahead in the timeline and I'm going to change the shape of my mask to actually isolate all those cars from the scene, which actually distract our points basically. So we just want to create points on static areas of our video. I'm going to fast forward it so we don't waste any time. Just it's a similar process. Okay, so we have created our mask. To get back, just click the mask again and click preview. Now you can see we just have points outside the road. That's exactly what we want. So first of all, let's increase the candidate number. It's the amount of tracker per frame and then the target number to 120. It will select 120 trackers per second. I'm going to change the search mode to optical flow and I'm going to turn on all the deformation and I'm gonna click illumination. So if there is any light change in the scene, it's not gonna distract the tracker. I'm gonna click auto track to start the tracking, and we have to wait for these. It's going to take some time, but you must have patience. It all depends on the quality of your video and also the amount of trackers that you are trying to add. For now, right now, as you can see, the timeline is getting green. It means that it is caching into the memory. Once it's cached out, you will be able to play it smoothly. And so now the tracking is finished, as you can see. All the stuff is looking good. So now it's time to delete the trash tracker that are bad, that are actually not sticking into the places that they're supposed to. So what we can do here is we actually can go through the timeline. So if you click the length here, as you can see, some of the tracker only last for a few frames. We don't want that. We want to select all those trackers that last for a few frames because they're actually the one that really distract our camera track. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna select the first one and I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it. Maybe I can just select the first one and drag down to select up to maybe 18 of the length. So we select all the tracker that only last for 18 frame, and I'm gonna click delete twice to delete all those trackers because they're bad tracker and that's going to mess out our scene. So I think this is perfectly fine if you look through. Yeah, that's totally fine. And if you play it, that's how it looks like, right? So now if we just zoom in a bit and try to point out some bit trackers, for example, the tracker on the, wait a second, I think all of them are good, I guess. Yep. I don't think anyone is bad here. Okay, so just in case, just let's create a user tracker here. Why we're creating user tracker? Well, it's a manual tracker. We just add up to 8 trackers by hand. So I'm going to click the create button and I'm going to create a tracker here. I'm going to click illumination, turn on all the deformation, and I'm going to center weave it and I'm going to track it, right? So we're going to track some trackers by hand, which means that we actually adding all those tracker. We're going to check it frame by frame so we have a precise track for it. Why are we doing this? Is because when you create another tracker, it's not really perfect. But when you add a user tracker after that or before that, it's going to make the tracking data really perfect. So that is the main reason we are creating all those trackers. So I'm going to create another tracker and I'm going to track it like so. I'm not going to explain everything about it, but I'm creating some good tutorials about Pftrack in the future. It's going to be extremely basic, but for now we're just going through the overall process. I'm going to create more trackers into our scene and I'm going to fast forward it. It's actually user tracker, or it's also called manual tracker, which means we are adding those frame by frame. We are checking it that it's stick into its position. It is only just to make the tracking accurate, and it's an important step to make it better. That's what I'm trying to do right now. All right, so we have created so many trackers, and I think those trackers are enough to actually make the tracking data a bit better. And now it's time to just right click, go to solving and add a camera solver. Just click the solve all button. We can come up to the first frame and click the S here, then go to the ending frame and click the S here to just assign the starting frame and the ending frame for our track. And then click solve and it's going to solve the camera. Just wait for a bit and it's going to give you some perfect result. And here, if you look into it, the tracking is, I think, perfectly fine. We just don't need to change anything. We just need to align the orientation of our scene, and that's it. Okay, so if you just click the window here, as you can see, our grid is not perfectly aligning with the point cloud. We need to align it with this point cloud to actually match the ground. So I'm going to right click, go to utilities and add an orient node. Right here, you have to select, maybe if you go to first frame, we're going to select this point right here. And I'm going to click set origin and it's going to snap it into there. And if we just go ahead and play it, as you can see, the grid is actually sticking into the ground and that is exactly what we want. I'm going to change these to rotate so we can rotate it like so. And yeah, if you look up here, it's aligning with the point cloud, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. And if you look into it, as you can see, that's matching. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna go ahead and create a geometry and a test geometry. I'm gonna go ahead and select one of the object here. I'm gonna scale it up like so and I'm going to change these to place by selection. So snapping to selected. And if I just click duplicate and click on any tracker, it's going to snap the object into it. It is just a test object. It's not an important step, but just for your information, you can add it and check it out if it's sticking or not. So as you can see, our objects are sticking into the ground, and that is exactly what we want. So right here, you can scale it or scale it down. And as you can see, the grid is fine. Let's create a curve here. Just click it, click add to scene, and it's going to add it to the center. You can just change the translation mode to rotation, and it's going to rotate your cow head. We're just testing the ground level. We're gonna change it to translate. Maybe yeah, right here. I'm gonna scale it up. I'm going to translate it a bit. Maybe right here. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. All right, let's turn off all the trackers and grid here so we can see if the 3D model are actually sticking into it or not. I think it's perfectly fine. Now it's time to export all the data into Blender. All right, the tracking is perfectly accurate and you can test it out if you want. Right click, go to export and click export. And now it's time to change the format to coleta.dae right here. And then select a location to save your file into. I'm going to go ahead and choose my original location here and click confirm and click export to the scene and it's going to export it. Now in Blender, we're going to go ahead. The first thing you have to do is to set the resolution. So my footage was 2160 and 3840. That was a 4K resolution. And then the frame rate was 25 FPS. Hit A and delete everything. Go to File, Import, and import a DAE file. Just go to the directory where you exported it and click it, and it's going to import all the data. Come up here and turn off relationship line and just go to the camera view. Everything selected, just move all the keyframe by one frame. Select the camera, go to camera settings, under background image, click movie clip and click open. Just go ahead into your PNG sequence, click A and click open clip, and it's going to load the video. So the frame is not correct. We have to make it better. As you can see, it's not matching. Go to the camera, just change it to horizontal and it's going to fix the problem. And as you can see, it's actually matching with the Pftrack viewport. As you can see, the x-axis is perfectly fine, is perfectly directing to what this side as it did in Pftrack. Let's set the ending frame to frame number 350. And if you play it, that's how it looks like. So if you just go through this, as you can see, that's how our data looks like. And if I just go ahead and turn off the extras here, and we're going to save our file as well because you might lose all the data, which we don't really want. So let's save the file and call it a VFX something and click Save Blender File. Let's go to the output settings. Let's set the percentage to maybe 25%, maybe 50%. Change the format to FFmpeg. Come to View and Viewport Render Animation. Now what it does, it actually renders out your viewport and you will be able to see it. So as you can see, our viewport is rendered, and if you just look into it, that's how it looks like, right? And if you closely look, if you come up to render and click View Animation, you will be able to view your animation that you just rendered. All right, so I think it's perfectly fine. I was just checking the tracking if it is correct or not. Okay, select your camera and move it to a new collection so we will be able to see it right here. We could select it easily. We're going to turn off the other collection, but before we do that, let's save the file. Okay, so this is the model that I'm using. I'm going to put the link to it in the description down below. I'm using the truck model as well as the car model. I'm going to put the link to both of the model. Okay, so I have imported our truck model here, and as you can see, that's how it looks like. I have added a plane here with a holdout material for now. And if I just scale it up and I go to camera view, I'm gonna go ahead into edit mode, hit Control R and add a loop cut. I'm gonna rotate it to match these edge here. I'm gonna move it slightly into here, and I'm going to select the face here and hit E and extrude it just slightly. So we have these slope here. So you can just edit the geometry to match it with the footage. I'm going to click Shift A and I'm going to create a plane here. I'm going to scale it up. I'm going to move it to Y direction. And if I come up to this direction, I'm going to rotate it like that. I'm going to move it down like so. I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to move it that way. And I'm going to scale it on X-axis just a bit. and I'm gonna go ahead and extrude it like so. I'm just making a road. I don't know what it's called, but I'm gonna call it a road for our car to come down, right? So I solidify it to add it a bit of thickness, and then I'm gonna go ahead into Blender Kit. It's actually an add-on if you go into okay, so let's search for metal material in Blender Kit. I'm gonna also put the link to Blender Kit as well. It's a really good library of materials and stuff. I'm gonna drag and drop this material into it. And if I just go into material view, as you can see, the UV map are not really good. I'm gonna click tab to go into edit mode. If I go into UV editor here, I'm gonna click tab and I'm gonna click A and I'm gonna scale down the UV to actually match these texture, right? So now if I just save the file, if I go into cycles vendor, change the device to GPU compute, set the um, mix sample to maybe 100, and turn on motion blur and simplify. Also under film, click transparent. So this is our plane here. I just changed the material. If you come up into its object properties here, you can turn on shadow catcher, and what it does, it actually removes itself, but gets the shadows from other objects. And it's really important in the visual effects contest, specifically in Blender. And it's a really powerful option to actually get some shadows from the CG object. And if you look into the camera, as you can see, if we just hide these objects, that's how it looks like. And if you turn these objects on, that's how it looks like. So make sure to select your plane and set it to shadow catcher. So right here, I have my car imported. And now it's time for some animation, right? So I'm going to select the car here and I'm going to go into Y-axis. And if I come up here and I rotate this guy like so, I'm just going to get it back into its original position because I'm animating it from scratch. I'm going to put it here and I'm going to go into the front view of it on the other window. I'm going to move it up a bit and I'm going to go ahead and click just get it back here and I'm gonna go ahead and click I maybe to add a keyframe and then I'm gonna go forward in the timeline to maybe frame number 60. I'm gonna move it forward and I'm going to rotate it on x-axis. I'm gonna move it down a bit and I'm going to move it slightly rotate it if you want. And click I, just click T and make it linear so it linear follow the road here. And if I just play the video from the camera perspective, it's looking perfectly fine, right? Okay, so now it's just the same rule for the upcoming animation. You just have to go ahead into frame number 150. I'm gonna move it forward. I'm gonna rotate it like that. I'm gonna just flatten it with the road, and I'm going to rotate it slightly, and I'm gonna push it down a little bit and I'm going to click I to add a keyframe and I'm going to select everything and hit T and set it to linear. And if you played, don't focus on the side view, actually focus it from the camera view because that's exactly what we will be seeing in the final render. I'm going to select this keyframe, I'm going to move it a bit forward because it was a bit faster. So if I played, as you can see, the car is coming out and it's going down the road. I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to just play the video again. And as you can see, the car is coming down. And if you go into frame number maybe 230 and maybe 200, yeah, that's fine. Let's just move it forward, rotate it like that, move it up. Try to not have any sort of overlap between the road and the car because it doesn't really look good. I'm gonna move it down like this, and I'm gonna click I to add a keyframe. Slightly rotate it in between, just move it up. Rotate it a bit and try to move it down and click I like so. And then what we have here is the car coming down. I'm also going to add another keyframe right here. I'm just trying to perfectly align it with the road here because it was actually overlapping with it. And that's what I don't want, right? I don't want it to overlap with the ground. So I'm gonna move forward in the timeline to here, to maybe frame number 282, and I'm gonna move forward in the timeline. I'm gonna rotate it like so, and I'm gonna add another keyframe here. I'm gonna slightly move it up like so, and I'm gonna slightly rotate it, and I'm gonna move it down a bit. I'm just gonna go ahead in the timeline and see if it's looking good. I'm gonna rotate it again a bit, and as you can see, that's how it looks like, right? So if you played, as you can see, the car is coming out of the truck, and that's how it looks like. If you played forward, um, in the timeline, go to the ending frame and just move it a bit on Y-axis and hit I. So right now, I think the car animation is looking perfectly good. You can just slightly play around with the keyframes and the speed of your car, and you will have a final animation for your car that you can really use it. All right, now it's time for some tire animation because why not? I'm just playing with the animation of the car a little bit. Okay, so now let's select all the tires and okay, so let's click I to add a rotation keyframe on the first frame and then go ahead and change the transform pivot point to individual origin. Go ahead in the timeline to maybe frame number 232 and rotate all the tires on Y axis. And if we, oh, okay, so let's add a keyframe on the first frame. I forgot to add, and then go to frame number 200 and maybe 50 and rotate all those tires on y-axis. Rotate it on the forward axis, maybe something like 1000 or maybe, yeah, 1000. And if you played, okay, so let's select all the keyframe and hit T and make it linear. And if you play, as you can see, our tires are rotating the way we want. And if you look into the camera, that's how it looks like. And that's exactly what I'm trying to get. But after some time, they stop because if I select all the tires, I need to rotate them to the ending frame as well. So right here, they're gonna be a bit slower. Yeah. And if you play it, they're a bit slower. Let's go to the ending frame again and try to rotate again a bit. So they get a bit faster, like so. And as you can see, the tires are perfectly matching the motion of the car. I guess the animation is almost done. Now it's time for some vegetation to come on the car. Yeah, the animation looks perfectly fine. All right. So now it's time to just change our car into some plants here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just see the video and how it looks like, and the animation is fine. So for some vegetation stuff, I have an add-on called Bionic. I'm gonna search for, oh sorry, but Botanic. It's Botanic add-on, and you can find it on Superhive Market. It's for Blender, and it has too many assets that you will love. So I have already installed it. I just click the spawn asset to spawn some asset on top of the car, but you can select any kind of asset from here and spawn it, but there's a tool in it, which is a scatter tool. Just click the plus button and change the type to weed. Maybe I'm gonna change it to grass or something. Yeah, grass is fine. Let's select the preset. I'm gonna select this one, maybe that one. Yeah, that which one is will be good. I think this one is good, and I'm gonna click OK. And once you click OK, it's going to add vegetation on top of your model. So right now the rotation is not correct. So in order to make the rotation better, just scroll down into rotation here, change it to velocity here, and it's going to perfectly align the rotation of it, right? Okay, so if you come up to here, as you can see, you can hide the particle system as well in the particle settings. And Okay, so now it's time to assign it to specific part of our object. So what we can do here is we can just go into edit mode. We are going to in the material and we're gonna do and select this material and click select. It's going to select our material here, which is that material. And we're going to select this part here. And what we're going to do, we're going to go into the vertex group and I'm going to click plus here. And I'm going to click assign to assign a vertex group into the specific part. And once we get back into our particle system, what we're going to do here, we're going to scroll down into here. You can change, select your group as the density and it's only going to add those particle into the specific area that we just selected as a vertex group, right? You can now add more of those vegetation if you want. You have got the count here for different plants here. You have got the flowers, grass, the small plants, and all the stuff around. You can just change the amount of white flowers around it because it looks fine to me. And yeah, that's how it's done, right? And if you just look around, you got too many assets, you can just scale it. Okay, I'm gonna select this asset, which is the shepherd, and I'm gonna scale it down by 0.5 on all the axes. Maybe slightly bigger. Yeah, the one with the spiky head is actually needs to be scaled down. Yeah. Okay, so let's save the file. All right, let's go into render mode, right file, and we're gonna go ahead into our object, which is our can model. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab our can model and put it on top of the car here because this is exactly what we're trying to make. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open up the file that I have the can inside, and I'm gonna copy the can here. So that's our can here. Control C, copy the object, and just go back to the same file here. We're gonna go ahead and click Control V to paste the can here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and select the can model. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select the empty and I'm gonna move the can model to here. You can use any kind of model that you like. I'm gonna turn on texture so we can see which direction is our texture facing. I'm gonna rotate it on 180 degree like so, and then we're gonna go ahead and rotate it like that. I'm gonna scale it up like so. I'm gonna put it down here and I'm gonna rotate it like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and just move it a bit backward. Select the car, hit Control P, and parent the can into the car so the can also moves with the car. So right now, if you look into it, that's how it looks like. You can add some wire around the can model, some circles that will actually hold the can. So I'm going to turn on the texture. All right, let's turn off the plane for now. Okay, so now let's go into render mode and see how it looks like. Okay, so let's select the ground, give it a new material, make it a bit darker, like so, to actually reflect a bit better into our car model. All right, that looks totally fine to me. Okay, let's go into solid mode. Let's close this window and let's just go ahead into change it to GPU compute, change the samples to 100, maybe 128, turn on motion blur, maybe we can go ahead and turn on transparency. We're going to turn on persistent data under performance. We're going to go into compositing, click use nodes, click shift A and create a new node. I'm gonna import an image sequence. So I'm gonna create an image sequence node and I'm gonna put it down here. I'm gonna click Shift A and I'm gonna go ahead and create an alpha over node. I'm gonna connect it up here. I'm gonna go ahead and connect to the bottom socket. I'm gonna connect the PNG sequence to the top socket and it's going to show up. I'm gonna add a Weaver node so we will be able to see the video in the background. And now you are totally ready to render out the video. You can just hit render animation to render out the final thing. But to just test it out, I'm gonna render it in an image and let's just see what happens. All right, so the image is rendered, and as you can see, it's added into the video. And yeah, you can composite it in After Effects. You can change the colors as you wish. You can just hit render animation, and it's going to render out the final video. You might change the format. You might don't need to add a background in Blender. You might add it in After Effects. Whatever you want to do with it, just do it and make it better. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.